You're listening to the Greeks Gridiron, live with Athan Hristodulu.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Greeks Gridiron. It's December 9th, 2021. We are getting set for Week 14 of the NFL's regular season. We're getting real close to playoff time, just 5 weeks left in the regular season. As things start to get tight, teams are battling for those final playoff spots. We have some teams that are clearly going to make it to the playoffs, but there are a lot of teams, the AFC especially, where it seems to be just a complete dogfight for some playoff spots. We got a lot of really good games this weekend with some serious playoff implications on the line. So without further ado, let's get into some NFL picks. Make sure you like the video if you enjoy what we're doing. And, of course, subscribe as we are getting close to that 200 sub mark. I believe we are 7 away at this point. So let's talk some picks, shall we? First off, if you look up at the top, I am pointing the right way, top left of your screen, 110-82 is the current prediction record that I am sitting at here. And with today, we start with the Thursday night football game. We have ourselves the Pittsburgh Steelers heading out to Minnesota to take on the Vikings. Now, the Vikings are favored in this one. They're -3 favorites going into this game. However, the Pittsburgh Steelers defense is really good. They have been really good all year, maybe not quite what they were last year when they were ranked like third best or better in just about every category. This year, not as aggressive, but still really good. And when TJ Watt is on the field and he's getting pressure, my goodness, is that guy. He is out of this world good. He is an MVP candidate, in my opinion. I mean, the guy has 16 sacks, and he's only played in, I believe, I think he's missed like 2 games. I forget what the number of games he's played right now. If they're, 6-5-1, he's missed 2 games. That means they're sitting at 10 games played out of the 12 so far. I mean, TJ Watt's been an absolute freak of nature, and I think that there's a possibility he can take over this game. And part of the reason why I'm unsure that Minnesota can come out of this game victors is, one, the suspect defense that they have. This is a good opportunity for Pittsburgh's offense, which has kind of stumbled throughout the year. From out of the gates up until this point, really, there has not been too many moments or games where you've been like, wow, this is the Pittsburgh offense we were hoping to see. I would say that Pittsburgh Steelers offense has struggled. However, the Vikings defense has probably struggled more. So Pittsburgh, 1, can take advantage of that. And 2, it's the injuries that are on the Vikings side of the football. It was already confirmed that Adam Thielen is going to miss the game. And then on top of that, running back Dalvin Cook is also questionable. That puts a lot of pressure on the rest of that Minnesota offense to get things done and take on a Steelers defense that, again, has been pretty aggressive, really good at pressuring the quarterback and getting to the quarterback. Obviously, TJ Watt has 16 sacks on his own. I think there could be some headaches in store for Minnesota. Even though they are at home, I am going to go with the Steelers on the upset win here. Again, Vikings are -3 favorites, but I have a feeling Pittsburgh might be able to get this one done. Next game up on the list, we're looking at Baltimore going into Cleveland. Now, if you did not know, Baltimore lost another cornerback here at this point. I don't really know who they're starting at corner, and I don't know how they keep finding more cornerbacks to actually start for their team. But Marlon Humphrey went down. He is done for the season. He has to get surgery. I believe he completely tore his pec, if I'm remembering correctly. The Ravens are they're a bizarre team. They've been playing really well despite a lot of injuries, especially at the cornerback position. That is a terrible position. I mean, no position is good to have injuries, but when it comes to covering wide receivers in the passing league that we are in, you need to have good cornerbacks. And the fact that they've been able to find depth to even service a decent defense, I mean, it speaks volume to just the organization and just how well run the Baltimore Ravens are. But they're already the 31st ranked team in passing yards allowed this season. Got to be some concerns over there if you're going to be Baltimore. Now, this is a trap game in a sense that the Browns could really come away with a victory here. They're in Cleveland. They got the dog pound behind them. They know for a fact that, it's a who's who secondary over there in Baltimore starting for them. And on top of that, the Ravens are the second best run defense in the league. They're allowing only 84.3 yards per game. The Browns are probably one of the only few teams that can actually push that run defense. You have Nick Chubb, you have Kareem Hunt, you have a pretty good offensive line, and on top of that, you are the 4th best rushing attack in the league. One of the few teams, in my opinion, that can probably challenge this Ravens run defense. So, with that, hurt secondary, a run game that, could be dominant. The Browns, excuse me. You know what? I want to go Ravens here, but I think I'm going to go Cleveland Browns for the upset victory. I'm actually curious what the line is on this one here. I forgot to pull up the game as I started talking about it, but it looks like Cleveland's actually the favorite here. According to ESPN's Football Power Index, they're 53.5% favored for the matchup predictor. And then the Browns are actually minus 2.5 favorites in this one. Okay, that's interesting to me. I mean, I know they're at home, but I was curious to see what the actual, the plus and minus is going to be for that game. So shout out to the Browns. People are really believing in them for this game. I think the Browns can get it done. Like I said, the Ravens are in a really tough spot injury-wise. I think it's going to be kind of hard for them to overcome it. Plus, the offense has not been quite as explosive the last few weeks. There's been some turnovers, concerns, things like that. Tough game for the Ravens. I think Baltimore could squeak out what I would think would be an upset win, but apparently people are favoring the Cleveland Browns. Up next, we're looking at the Jaguars and the Titans here. Titans are getting Julio Jones back for this game, so that's good for them, dealing with a lot of offensive injuries for the Tennessee Titans. Meanwhile, the Jaguars continue to kind of just trudge through their season, sitting at 2-10 right now. Not much to play for other than a really good draft pick here. I think ultimately the Titans should come out the victors in this game. There's not really a ton for me to talk about. Can the Jaguars play upsetter and completely screw up the Titans right here and pull out some upset win? Maybe. The game is in Tennessee, so I don't know how likely that is. And everyone seems to be picking the Titans for this game. I'm actually curious here. I pull up the betting for this one as well. We're looking at minus 8.5 for the Titans. That's definitely something I could see happening if things bode really well for them and they just completely roll over that Jaguars defense. It's totally something I could see happening. Things just do not seem to be really getting better or progressing at all over there in Jacksonville. It feels like that offense is stuck in neutral every single week. So with that, I will go at Tennessee Titans. Next up, we're looking at the Raiders and the Chiefs in Kansas City. This is a good one. Again, another game, playoff implications on the line. It's a divisional matchup as well. This is a big one for both of these teams. You have the Kansas City Chiefs, who are riding a 5-game winning streak right now. After all the talk of the Chiefs being done and whatnot, they're currently sitting at 8-4, and they're tied with I think it's 3 or 4 other teams for second place in the AFC. They are right in the thick of things. Defense has improved as of late. The offense, while still kind of, I'm wishy-washy on them. I don't really know if I completely believe in them, but they're starting to kind of put things together. They're actually the 6th best passing attack in the league in yards per game. Surprisingly enough, it doesn't feel like it, but they are at 281 a game. I think that what this is going to really boil down to, though, is just them being able to slow the Raiders' passing attack that has been pretty prolific all year long, ranked 2nd best in the league. If the defense can hold up and lock down on the Raiders, this is a game that I think the Chiefs will win, especially it being in Kansas City. The Chiefs need this one to keep their playoff hopes alive. The Raiders have dealt with a lot of adversity that I think is finally kind of starting to catch up with them, and I think the Chiefs come out the victors here. Next up, we're looking at the Saints and the Jets. We have the Jets, a team struggling with their rookie quarterback who has missed some games as well. And then the New Orleans Saints, who is, they're coming off that disastrous Thursday night football game with the 4 interceptions from Taysom Hill and have just been kind of treading water and slowly starting to drown as the season goes on since Jameis Winston went down with his injury. They are now 0-5 without him. This is a trap game in a sense that the Jets could very easily upset the Saints here. I feel like this is a game that the Jets would win. They've won some pretty wild games already this year, games you would not expect for them to win, and I could totally see them pulling a massive upset here. However, I do really like the Saints defense. They are really good at stopping the run, and while the pass defense has not been the best this year, I do believe in the Saints defense still to a point, and enough to a point that I think that, with the struggles that the Jets have dealt with all season with the rookie quarterback and just, Elijah Moore is emerging for them, and then Carter, their running back, has had a few good games. I just don't really know if they can put enough together to take down the Saints in this one, so I am going to go New Orleans in New York for this game. Next up, another divisional matchup. Again, playoff implications on the line. The Washington football team hosting the Dallas Cowboys. Washington needs to win this game and pretty much the rest of their games to win out and potentially have a shot at winning the NFC East, which is pretty bizarre because a few weeks ago, this was a team that was a lost cause, but is now riding a hot streak and doing everything in their power to keep themselves in the playoff race and potentially even steal the division from the Dallas Cowboys, who have slipped up a little bit the last few weeks. However, the biggest thing that sticks out to me when I'm comparing these two teams is, one, the lack of ability to stop the pass on Washington, but also their ability in stopping teams on third down. Washington ranks 32nd in third downs converted against them this season. If you can't stop a team on third down and you can't get that defense off the field, how the heck is your offense going to score? Well, it's not going to score very often, as in they only have about 20.5 points a game, which isn't terrible, but it's not great, 20th in the league. But in my opinion, I don't know if Washington just has the firepower to be able to stop what the Cowboys can do. Their run D has been pretty impressive. Washington's actually third best in the league. However, the Cowboys don't really need to run the football to be successful. They're ranked 4th in the league in passing yards a game. They're ranked 6th in the league in rushing yards a game. I mean, you just can't. If you stop them one way, they can still score on you another way and and beat you down. And the Cowboys are averaging 29.4 points a game. Meanwhile, Washington's allowing 24.8. So, I mean, a lot's swaying in favor of Dallas. I do like the Cowboys in this one here, and I think I am going to go with the Dallas Cowboys winning this one over in Washington. Next up on the list, we are looking at the Falcons and the Panthers. Again, more divisional matchups here. It feels like it's the final week of the season, but it's not. We're getting there. Falcons and Panthers, another game where both these teams kind of clinging to some sort of playoff hopes, but honestly, these are two teams that I don't really expect to make it into those final 7 teams in the NFC. Both are 5-7. Cam Newton, is he really the answer at quarterback for the Panthers? I don't really know. Did not have a stellar game last week, and realistically, or the last time they played, I believe they had last week off, if I'm not mistaken. But I just don't know if Cam Newton is the quarterback for them. I understand that the signing was kind of like in desperation. The whole Sam Darnold experiment has pretty much flopped and failed and fallen on its face. Maybe with more time in their system, Cam can play better. The Falcons are notorious for losing games that they probably should be winning. They are 5-7 this year, and they're very middle of the pack or just not very good at all in a lot of things. They are allowing second worst in the league, I guess I should say, 31st rather, 27.7 points a game. Again, second worst in the league. So, I mean, there is opportunity there. The Panthers are not really good at scoring themselves. They're in the bottom tiers as well. And also, the one real big concern that I have is just there's no identity for either of these offenses here. Christian McCaffrey would be like the identity for the Panthers, and you would assume Kyle Pitts for the Falcons, but Kyle Pitts has kind of gone MIA the last few weeks. Christian McCaffrey with the injuries, obviously. This one's a wash, I would say, with trying to pick a winner. And realistically, I'm going to go with the Falcons here, more so just because they have a veteran quarterback in Matt Ryan, and that's just about it. The defense in Carolina has been great, could probably stop this Falcons offense. I'm pretty sure the Panthers beat the Falcons the last time they played too. And I'm probably going to, eat my own foot on this one, but I'm going to go with the Falcons this time around because I feel like this Panthers team is not as good as they were the last time they played. Next up, we're looking at the Seahawks and the Texans. Texans are, I'm actually looking at the numbers right here, 32nd in just about everything that I have listed here, except for 2 categories where they're 31st and 30th, and then they're randomly 15th in the league in pass D. The Texans continue to trudge along with a lot of drama swirling around them, obviously. 2-10, I don't expect a lot out of them. They're eliminated from the playoffs at this point. You're not really playing for anything besides pride, and realistically, pride is not going to get you good players for next year. So, lose the games, lose them well. I think the Seahawks at 4-8, not doing too much better themselves, do get a victory here in Houston against the Texans. Next up, we're looking at the Lions and the Broncos. This is a game where I feel like for some reason the Broncos could choke it up. They're 6-6. They've lost some crazy games. They've won some crazy games. The Lions just pulled a massive upset off the Vikings after I tried calling their wins twice. And then when I was like, no shot they'd beat the Vikings, of course they're going to beat the Vikings, because why could I pick the Detroit Lions' first win of the season? But they're 1-10-1. They're not doing too great in just about any facet of the game. If I'm looking at all the numbers here, they're like I think the highest ranking they are is 20th, and that's in rushing yards a game. Meanwhile, they're pretty much 28th, 29th, 7th, 8th, and just about every other statistical category or major statistical category at that. The Broncos, great defense. I think they're locked down at times and honestly very impressive, and they lose really tight, low-scoring games. I think the Broncos should get the win here in Denver. They're at home, Mile High. Teams tend to have a hard time playing there. Lions are not really playing well. I expect the Lions to take the L here, and the Broncos come out the victors. Next up, we're looking at the Giants and the Chargers. This is a trap game for LA. They need to win this game to keep their playoff hopes alive in what has been an uber-competitive AFC West. Honestly, it's still anyone's division. The Broncos, even at 6-6, have a really good shot. I mean, if they win this week and the Chargers lose this week, and say the Chiefs lose this week and the Raiders win, everyone is sitting at 7-6 except for the Chiefs, who have 8 wins, so they'd be at 8-5. I mean, this division is wide open at this point here. There's no clear-cut favorite, and all the teams have kind of traded wins and losses at this point. But I'm going to go with the Chargers. They're in LA. The Giants have really struggled offensively. Defensively, they've had some games, but overall, the Giants, in my opinion, have been one of the bigger disappointments of this season. I expected them to be a potentially 10-win team if everything went well, and with an even higher ceiling at that if things went really well for them, but things have not. I'm questioning whether their head coach is the answer for their team. Daniel Jones, I don't believe, is the guy at this point. I understand a lot around him, but he's a really good athlete. He does have some really good throws, but he has some boneheaded decisions. He has some really goofy moments. He reminds me of like a younger Eli Manning, except Eli Manning won a couple of Super Bowls against one of the best the best quarterback in NFL history. So there is that. I don't think that he's the guy. I think the Chargers come out the W here. I like LA in LA for the W. Next up, we are looking at San Francisco in Cincinnati. This is a close one. This is kind of a wash game. I don't know if you could really pick a winner and punch the table and, I think this team's going to win type deal. This is a close one. You have the 49ers, who, again, a team that have won some big games, lost some big games, and in some heartbreaking fashion, and they've also been completely blown out of the water, but they've also won in some pretty interesting games. The passing game in San Francisco is kind of my concern here. They run the ball really well. They play really good defense, too. I don't know. For some reason, I can't really believe in the 49ers this year. I've had some people trying to tell me they're a top 10 team. I do not think they're a top 10 team. I think they're somewhere more like in the middle of the pack. They're somewhere around like 14 through 18 within that realm there. I believe in my power rankings, I have them at like 15 or 16, something like that. But I just don't know if I can believe in the 49ers right now. I don't believe in Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't think Trey Lance is ready yet. He needs more time to sit. Meanwhile, the Bengals, they had a really weird, bad game last week against the Chargers. I did not expect the game to go like that. I did pick the Bengals to win that game. However, they got blown out, and I wasn't expecting it to go that way if they were to lose. I think that the Bengals have a bounce-back game here. They're in Cincinnati in front of their fans in the jungle, so I do like the Bengals here, and I think I'm going to go with them for the W. Next up, this is one that everyone's talking about, and I think it's an exciting game because Tom Brady gets to go against a team that he has pretty much mollywopped his entire career and just like scrubbed the floor with. We got the Buffalo Bills, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm going to break out the betting odds for this one here because I'm very curious to see what people are saying about this one. It looks like the Buccaneers, they are at home, are the -3.5 favorites. I could see them winning by 3.5. I could also see them winning by about 15 or more. The Buccaneers are firing on all cylinders right now. They have been looking really good as of late. They are first in points a game. They are first in passing yards a game. Their run defense is first in the league ranked right now. I mean, they are doing a lot right, and they're doing a lot really, really well at that. Meanwhile, the Bills, I feel like they've been exposed as of late. I was very surprised, to see the kind, I don't know if I was to say surprised to see the game plan they employed last week because they can't run the football very effectively. They're ranked 12th in the league in rushing yards, but it does not feel that way. Every time I watch a Bills game, and I live in the Northeast, so I do see the Bills play often. I also have Sunday tickets, so I see everybody play realistically, but I've watched the Bills. Their running game has not been great. Josh Allen usually accounts for a handful of their rushing yards. Their running backs and offensive line cannot get the job done on the ground. I don't think they're balanced enough to win games like this. Meanwhile, the Buccaneers are a team that they can get it done on the ground, but when you have a quarterback that's 44 years old, greatest of all time, 7 Super Bowls, just threw 4 touchdowns last week and 386 yards or something like that, you don't need to run the football. You got Tom Brady. I'm going to go with the Bucs on this one here. I think that they have a very good opportunity to beat the brakes off the Bills, to be honest with you guys, and I would not be surprised if it happens. I expect the Bills to fall 7-6 after this game. Next up, we're looking at the Bears and Packers. Division rival matchup. This is after their earlier matchup from this year, the whole Rodgers, I own you to the Bears fans thing. Realistically speaking, I've seen a lot of people ask the questions about this in the media, whatnot. Do you regret saying it to Aaron Rodgers, or, are the Bears using it as bulletin board material? Here's how I look at this. While it is a rather, it sounds arrogant and it sounds, puffed up with pride and whatnot. Realistically speaking, if you are the Bears, you have done literally nothing to discredit that statement at all. Rodgers does own the Bears. And I mean that in like the nicest, respectable way, but Rodgers has consistently beat down the Bears his entire career. And honestly, if the Bears pull an upset win this week, it doesn't really change anything. Yeah, it's a big win. It's the most recent game they've played, sure, and it kind of hurts the Packers for their playoffs positioning and whatnot, don't get me wrong, but I don't really see the Packers losing this game. Justin Fields is going to start, and the last time Justin Fields played the Packers, it did not really, it went all right. I'm not going to say it didn't go well. It went all right. Not great. But, the Packers have just been playing really, really good football. They're very balanced this year, which is not something I feel like we've seen from them as of the last few years. I feel like they can run the football, they can throw the football. They're not relying too much on Rodgers, which is something that I feel like they've done the last few years, which has kind of hurt them ultimately. You need to have balance. And also the defense. The Packers defense has been very, very impressive. They are top 10 in the 3 major statistical categories of points a game allowed, passing yards, rushing yards allowed, all those big important stats there, holding teams and whatnot down. I like the Packers here. I think they're going to get the W in Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers will continue to own the Bears, and good luck to Chicago this week in Green Bay, because you couldn't get it done at Soldier Field. I don't know if you guys can get it done over in Green Bay either. Final game, and this is the Monday night one. We have the LA Rams and the Arizona Cardinals. Now, I do not have a winner picked on here. Like I've told you guys before when I do these, I have a little script here with just some notes to kind of keep bulleted there so I can kind of reference them as I'm talking to you all. I don't have a winner picked on this one because I really do not know who is going to win this game. The last time they played, Arizona blew out the Rams. It was not even close. And realistically speaking, this time around, the game's in Arizona. I feel like Arizona's going to be rocking. This is a tough one for the Rams. They need this win really badly. And if the Cardinals lose this game, it is going to alter the positioning of the NFC playoff picture quite a bit. The Rams have been impressive offensively. Their defense is not quite what it was last year. It's unfortunate because when I saw Matthew Stafford going to the Rams this year, my initial thought was, okay, this offense is about to be really legit. Matthew Stafford's a great quarterback. I've always been high on Matthew Stafford. Ever since he got drafted, always been high on him. Does he have his moments where, he makes a crazy interception here or there? Sure, you can talk about the pick sixes he has in his career, whatever you want. He's a gunslinger. He's a risk taker, and sometimes he takes a little too many, sure, but he has played really, really well this year, and it's funny watching the media just scrutinize him every time he makes a mistake, but doesn't really praise him. They just kind of negate it with other facts about other players and whatnot. Matthew Stafford's been great. The defense has not been great. They've been good. It's not the Rams defense that was last year. That's what I was excited about seeing Matthew Stafford go to LA. I was really hoping for that. Meanwhile, the Cardinals, they were a team that I was high on coming into this season, and they've exceeded every expectation that I have. Some people don't buy the Cardinals, and I heard people talking about how they don't believe in the Cardinals defense right now. They're allowing 4th best, 18.7 points a game. They're 5th best in the league in passing yards allowed at 205. Running, 113 a game, 16th in the league, middle of the pack. The Cardinals don't even have J.J. Watt anymore, but yet they're still, they're missing players. They were missing Kyler Murray, they were missing DeAndre Hopkins, and they're missing Chase Edmonds. They've been missing a handful of people. Still getting it done. Defense has been great, holding teams down while the offense has been getting enough done without their starters. And then just last week, Arizona with Kyler Murray back in the fold, 33 points, no trouble. The Bears, did they score 22? Not that big of a deal. The game was never really close. I never felt like the Cardinals are going to lose the game. Arizona's rolling right now. And with everything I just said, I really don't know who's going to win this game. I'm going to pick Arizona, though. They're at home. When in doubt, pick the home team. I think Arizona gets the job done. I have a feeling the Rams can pull an upset win here. Obviously, it's been quite some time since these two teams played, but I think Arizona takes the sweep. This will help them win the division. 11-2 seems very possible for me coming out of this one for the Arizona Cardinals. But that is my picks for this week 14. Again, I'm 110-82. Hopefully, oh man, I would love to have a week where I could get, just a couple of games wrong and the rest right. I've been having weeks of just like 2 or 3 more games predicted right than wrong. This is a tough one. A lot of divisional matchups, a lot of playoff implications on the line. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Who do you think is going to win these games? Who's coming out on top? Rep your team in the comment section down below. But I will see you guys for our next video, whenever that may be. I will catch you guys later. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday. Have some fun watching Thursday Night Football, and enjoy the slate of games this Sunday, everybody. Have a good one.